Yes, I am.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Anthony Jones from Alabama A&M joins us coming off a bye week and in preparation for the Magic City Classic. If you could talk about those preparations, and then we'll open it up for questions, Coach.
Okay. Well, again, good morning, everyone. As you said, we had a bye week. Had a little time to get some healing done and kind of recharge the batteries and work on some things that I felt we needed to work on across the board. So we were able to do that, and at the same time work on, of course, Alabama State. So we're trying to get ready for that football game. We know that they're a very good football team. Coach Barlow's done an outstanding job with this football team with the problems that they had early going before the season started, and replacing guys, and guys on this team have taken ownership, and they got some kind of superstars, if you will, on all three phases of the football that are really making plays, and they're number one in a lot of polls, and deservedly so. We're going to try to get ready for them, and we'll take our shot at them and see what happens in this game. It's going to be a huge football game. It's kind of what you expect and hope the Magic City Classic will be. Two of the top teams in all of black college football having a chance to duel it out on a Saturday afternoon, and probably going to be about 70,000+ people there, and we'll be excited about it. They'll be excited. We'll get the best of each other, and we'll see what happens.
We'll open it up for questions for head coach Anthony Jones from Alabama A&M.
Hey, Coach Jones, Ty Miller from SBN Sports. Good morning to you.
Hey, Ty, good morning to you. Thanks.
Coach, since you've been at Alabama A&M, is this one of the best Alabama State teams you've encountered thus far?
They'll be right up there in the top one or two. The thing that's special about this team is that they can beat you in all three phases. They've won games offensively when their offense had to show up and do its thing. They won games defensively where the defense had to show up and quote, do its thing. And then they won games special teams wise. And then, of course, they combined them and put all three of those phases together to win football games. So, it's not a football team that presents a lot of weaknesses. They're well coached. They understand what they're doing. They believe in what they're doing. They believe in one another. And that makes them pretty good. And plus, they got some pretty doggone good athletes running around getting the job done.
Coach, oftentimes we focus on the offensive stars of the team, but if you look at Alabama State, one of the things they do best is create turnovers. Can you talk about that aspect of it and how key it will be in this game for your team to protect the football on offense?
I mean, that's what they do. That's one of the phases I'm talking about. Defensively, their offense, their team relies on them making or creating turnovers, and they've been very efficient in doing so. And then the offense take advantage of those turnovers, and they make you pay. There's no secret that one of the things you got to do is take care of the football. It's easier said than done because Riley is running around there. He's one hell of a center fielder, and when you make a bad read, he's gonna make you play. Hey, and there's times when you make good reads. Man, he just has such incredible range, and he is. A lot of people don't get this when you start talking about football players, but that kid is smart. He is a smart football player. I saw him last year, and I was really, really impressed with this kid last year, and he has taken his game to another level. So it's easier said than done to say you're going to take care of the football, but that's one of our goals that we have to meet to have a chance against this team.
Coach, once your team got going after suffering back-to-back losses to start the season, what has been the overriding factor in staying on that streak?
Well, I think what has happened now is that we've all established some roles that we play on this football team. We're not concerned about what this guy's doing or what that guy's doing. We're going out there and doing our job to the absolute best of our ability. And sometimes, offensively, we got to make some plays late in the game to to get the game won, and we've been able to do that. And defensively, we had to do the same thing. So it's been kind of a multitude of things where everybody is really just kind of taking ownership as to what they can control, and guys are stepping up doing that.
And Coach Fowler, can you talk to me more about Darius Lacey and whom his style of running resembles the most? Because he's a bruising type of a back.
Okay. I tell Kadarius that he kind of reminds me, I'm going old school now, kind of an old Franco Harris. Franco Harris was a big running back, kind of upright, didn't look like he was going very fast and all those things, but he was just chucking up yards and just chomping up yards and always trying to get the front door. And that's what I'm trying to get him to understand his style of play should be like. Now, of course, Franco Harris wasn't as a Hall of Fame and things of that sort, but on our level, that's what I want him to understand himself being. He's not a speed back. He's not a guy that's going to beat you with speed. I mean, he has to be, if you will, that hammer, and that hammer just keeps on pounding, keeps on pounding, keeps on pounding, and that's what we have to do.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Coach Jones. Okay, go ahead. That's all right. Roscoe, go ahead, man.
Yeah, Coach, this is Roscoe Nance. How you doing?
I'm fine, Roscoe. How are you, man?
I'm good. You talked about Alabama State's playmakers. And I guess high up on that list would have to be their receiver, Nick Andrews.
He's right on top of that list, man.
What's so special about him, and what concerns you about him?
Everything. I mean, he's another smart football player. He has excellent skills. He's quick. He has good speed. He has great hands. And one of them things that you really can't measure, a scout will come in there and they can measure his height and weight and all those kind of things. But the thing that you can't measure is how this kid's desire to be the absolute best. And he possesses that. You can tell by the way he makes plays week in and week out. And sometimes they're not plays that are drawn up always, sometimes they get scrambling around and this kid finds the open hole and quarterback Jenkins, he ends up finding them. So just when you think you got this kid kind of bottled up, he gonna burn you. And this is a kid that's going to get his. What you try to do is try to minimize him because he is an exceptional player, and he's going to end up making some plays. There's no way we're going to be able to shut this kid down, but we just got to try to minimize him.
Is there any receiver that he reminds you of?
No, this kid really has a kind of a style of his own. I didn't get a chance to see Coach Barlow play, but from what I'm hearing, he's probably similar to him. Both these guys had great skills and great desires to be the absolute best. And Nick has a host of qualities that you just can't say he's a big receiver or he's a fast receiver or he has great hands. It's a multitude of things. He has great quickness, great hands, real good speed, real high football IQ, understands when a quarterback is in trouble, that he tries to be that man to get him out of trouble. He's a heck of a football player.
Okay, Coach, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Jones, how you doing? This is Donald Hunt, Philadelphia Tribune.
Fine, Donald, you?
I'm doing good, man.
Good.
How do you keep the team focused in such a big game like this, man? This is the 70th annual. You mentioned could be 70,000 fans there, and it's a huge contest from a rivalry perspective, but also in the standings.
Mm-hmm. This game is so unique, man. I think I mentioned this last year, and I'll say it again. It's something that I've really never seen and been a part of. You're going to have about 70,000 people there. And, we'll have our when we have our moment, our fans will be going crazy. About 35,000 of our fans will be acting a fool. When they have their moment, about 35,000 of their fans will be acting a fool. And it is one of the most unique situations I think I've ever seen in all of football. But it's great. We play at a neutral spot, almost identical distance away, and both sets of fans go down there and look to have a great time and enjoy a great football game. How do you keep them focused? You keep reminding them of what's at stake. You keep reminding them who they're playing, how good this team is, and you just got to keep reminding them of those different things, and you have to do it in kind of levels, if you will. And so when you're ready to play, when the game is ready, they're ready.
Okay. Coach Jones, Jay Walker, how you doing?
I'm fine, Jay. How you doing?
I'm all right. Just two questions. One, has this been the most highly anticipated Magic City Classic you can recall in recent memory? And two, what have you done with the extra time? Obviously, you played on a Thursday. You didn't play that Saturday. Then you had a bye week. What have you done to help prepare your team with the little extra time you had?
As far as, we were kind of in this situation back in, I believe it was 06 or maybe 05. They came in, I think 6-1, and I think we were 5-2 or 4-2, something like that, very similar. But I don't think they were ranked number one in all of black college football, and I don't think we were in the top 5. So I think that's probably going to be the case of it is now, and that makes this probably the biggest game, the biggest that I've seen, the Magic City Classic. As far as what we've been doing during this time, we've been, as I said before, we tried to get our guys some little rest because we were beat up. We had a tough roll there for about 5 or 6 weeks, really about 7 weeks, but we were a little beat up, so we gave them a few days off, just a few, and then we went back to work and started working on some fundamentals and trying to get ready for Alabama State. To beat this team, to have a chance with this team, you have to be fundamentally sound. You can't make a lot of mistakes. If you make a lot of mistakes, you might as well count it. As soon as you make the mistakes, man, it's just a matter of time before they're going to end up being points for them. They're that good. So we have to be ready. We have to, we got to be ready to play a good football game. And if they are to beat us, we got to make sure they beat us. We can't give them anything because they don't need any help in beating us.
Coach, we appreciate the time this morning. We've got to move on. Good luck this Saturday against the Hornets. We will talk to you next Monday.
Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to Alabama State head coach Reggie Barlow. Is Coach Barlow on the call?
Yes, sir.
Morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Much the same as we just talked to Coach Jones. You're coming off a bye week in preparation for the Magic City Classic. Talk about how your kids have spent that time and preparation for the Bulldogs, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Yes, sir. This was, just like all other coaches say when it's a bye week, I mean, you get an opportunity to, take a little time off, and still get some work. This year, the Magic City Classic, it's always such a huge game for us, and, so we kind of did both. We got a little rest, and we went ahead and introduced Alabama A&M to our guys, and did some stuff on A&M last week, and of course last night we practiced, and but this game is a big game for a lot of reasons. It's the Magic City Classic. It means so much to so many of our people and their people, and it's a game that everybody kind of mark on the calendar. I mean, if you've been a part of this stuff, everybody look forward to it. So. It's a big game for that reason, and of course, we're excited about having an opportunity to play in it. It's, as an alumni here, I've always enjoyed being a part of this game. So we got to get ready and continue to prepare to play against a team that's playing with a lot of confidence and got a lot of really good players there on that team. Corey Hart and Philip Harvey and the quarterback Mason, and I mean just a solid team, no different from how they've been all the other years, and it'll be a huge challenge for us.
We'll open it up for questions for Alabama State head coach Reggie Barlow.
Hey, Coach Jay Walker, just a quick one. you get more nervous as a player for this game, or more nervous as a coach preparing for the game?
Well, probably as a coach, you know. As a player, man, I was pretty confident. I knew I was gonna get off now. You know, but I'm coaching it now and trying to encourage these guys to have that confidence so they can get off. But you know, I don't have no control over that. You know, we just coach them up all week, and then we hope they go out and be able to play with confidence. So I would definitely say as a coach.
Hey, Coach Ty Miller from Sheridan Broadcast. Good morning to you.
Hey.
Hey, Coach, can you think about the fact that, number one, and I know this doesn't have a whole lot to do with what State and A&M does, but the fact that Alabama is off this week, so does it turn more attention to the Magic City Classic?
Well, you know, what's unique about the Magic City Classic is even if Alabama was playing, it would still get the notoriety and everything that it deserves to get. And I think the media in Montgomery and Birmingham and Huntsville and Mobile, all the surrounding areas have done a good job of putting this game out there. And the Alabama guys that I played ball with in the pros, I mean, they all kept their eyes on the Magic City Classic. When they got their schedules for the season, they look to see where they're going to be off that week for the Magic City Classic because they want to be a part of it just like so many other people. So I think the focus will still be there. You know, obviously both teams are having success and doing some good things, so it'll still be there.
Coach, people talk about other classics, the Bayou Classic, Circle City Classic, and things like that. But, you know, I don't know if they understand the magnitude of this classic and how people plan 12 months out to be in Birmingham for this weekend.
Yeah, you know, I've never gone to the other classics. Of course, I've heard a lot of really great things about them, and I can only imagine, you know, that they are really good. And I know this one, the Magic City Classic, is a great one, and there are people who they mark it on their calendars. They lie to their bosses and tell them they're gonna be sick, and so they can make it and come up on Thursdays and all that stuff. So. It's a huge game, and you know, I'm just, you know, I'm really blessed, and I tell our guys all the time that, you know, it's a blessing to be a part of a game like this. You know, you're gonna get an opportunity to play in front of so many people, and the atmosphere is different. You know, I've been blessed to play in NFL games and the Super Bowl and all that stuff, but the atmosphere is just so different at the Magic City Classic, and I think they all should really appreciate the opportunity to be a part of it.
Coach, does it add more luster to the game about the fact that it is such high stakes when you step between the lines this time?
Yeah, you know, I think so. I mean, there's a lot riding on it, and you know, it's been, you know, we haven't shied away from you know, what we are and all that stuff, you know, when we talk to our guys. So but it's a big game for a lot of reasons. It is a classic. You know, you are talking about an opportunity to, you know, we want to, you know, our goal and visions. We have everybody to state their visions at the beginning of the season, and most of these guys said they wanted to have an opportunity to be SWAC champs and to get back to the championship game. So this is this game is a big reason for that too. You know, we get an opportunity to kind of get a chance to go to the championship game if we were able to have some success and win this one.
Coach, when you look at Alabama A&M, can you talk to me about their running game, particularly Kadarius Lacey?
Yeah, Lacey is a big guy, man. He runs that ball hard, and he's physical, and he does a good job for him all the way around. I mean, he blocks well in the passing game, and when he has that ball, he's a load now, and there ain't no such thing as one guy bringing him down, and he does a good job. He runs the ball well, and obviously he has a lot of talent, and he's been coached well, and he's one of the better backs in this conference, and you know, we got our work cut out for us in trying to bring that big guy down.
Coach, the history of this series suggests that there's always some sort of unsung player that steps to the forefront to become the hero in this game. Have you talked to your players about that, how they can be that one player this weekend?
Well, I think there's been one or two of them that talked to me about it. Obviously, they've they're historians too. So I think since I've been here, we've been here coaching, we've kind of, made mention that there's always been, if you will, some type of star is born, some guy that comes out and makes some big plays and allow his team to have success. So I think they're aware of it, and they these guys are they're smart now. They know what's going on, and they want to be that guy, and I'm grateful that they do. We'll need somebody to step up and plays for us.
And finally, Coach, one thing that sticks out most about your team is the fact that you always seem to win that turnover battle. Is there anything in particular that you're doing to help your team get more turnovers on defense, or is it something just snowballs once it starts happening and keeps happening?
Yeah, Coach Thornton, I'm almost shameful that I get blessings for our team having success, but some really good coaches that they do a good job. Coach Thornton is one of the smartest guys that I know when it comes to defense, and he was a teammate of mine when we were in college, and he was smart then, and he does a great job of putting our guys in position to make plays, and then we got smart players. I mean, they invest in their time in watching film, and Coach Thornton is very thorough and detail-oriented when he's making his presentation about what the offense is trying to do to them. And those guys have bought into it, so they're doing a good job. Naturally you got to have the ability, but they're doing a good job of watching film and doing all that stuff, which is allowing them to go out and have success.
Coach, this is Mark Gray from HSRN. How are you?
How are you?
A question about Nick Andrews, if you would. When you look at him, the way he plays, and the records that he's breaking, just, tracking everybody down like yourself, A, how does that make you feel? B, what makes him a special athlete?
Yeah, Nick he's really good. He fits the pyramid, He's a smart guy. He loves football. He loves competing. He runs great routes, and he has great hands for a guy who's 5'9". He snatches that ball out of the sky and does a good job of running in traffic, great body control, and he's a complete receiver. He really is. I mean, there's some things naturally he has to improve on, to take it to another level. But he's a solid guy, and we're happy for him. We're happy he's breaking these records and moving up the chart. But I think if you ask Nick, what's been so good about this season for him, he'll tell you probably having his brother out alongside him who's contributing to the team in his senior year, and that's John Andrews. So, but Nick is a good player for us, and we're happy that we got him.
With having played in this game and being a coach, with all the stakes that are on the line this year, as Coach Jones stated, this was the biggest Magic City Classic that he has been in, pardon me. Is this the biggest Magic City Classic that you've been a part of?
Yeah, I guess, as a coach, I guess so. I mean, because they're all so big, and I don't want to demean this one there. I mean, it's a big game. Even if we hadn't won any games at this point, I mean, it'd be a huge one because there's so many people that just live for this game. They live for it. But obviously, I got enough sense to know that it's a huge game to us and our team because, if we're able to have some success and find a way to win, that means we'll get a chance to go back to the SWAC championship game. So I would definitely have to say that this one is a big one.
There's been a thought that some teams down there would much rather compete for the NCAA title as opposed to the SWAC title. How good do you think this team would match up outside the league, again, given that you hope to have some success on Saturday?
You mean like in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah,
okay.
You would match up against some of the, use Gulf South, I guess, as
all right.
type.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I don't know. I haven't because we don't play in it. I haven't paid the other teams any attention, to be honest with you. But I do know this. to find out what happens in the future, you look back to history. And I know we hadn't fared very well, and I say we, I'm talking about our conference, when we've gone to play in the those the NCAA or whatever. So I don't know. There's some really, really good teams, and then you have to factor in where you're going to play. I mean, you might go to Idaho or somewhere and be very, very cold. So it's a different mentality, but I like our team. I think we got decent players, and like I said, we got really good coaches, and we're just trying to coach them up and make them better. But it'd be hard to say how we would fare because I hadn't paid a whole lot of attention to a lot of the other teams.
Yeah, Coach Barlow, this is Roscoe Nance. How you doing?
Good, sir. How are you?
I'm great. Coach Jones was saying that he didn't get a chance to see you play, but that in conversations that he's heard, that people kind of compare Nick Andrews to yourself. Do you see any of you in him?
I'm gonna take Coach Jones one of my highlight tapes from college, man. Let him check me out, see what he think, because I really admire his opinion. So I'm gonna let him check it out. But Nick is a better receiver than I was. One of the things I had, I was bigger than him, of course, but I think he had better hands than me. He's a little more explosive than I was, and I think body control and in and out of breaks, I think he's a little bit better than me in that aspect also. And he can return punch. Of course, he's so valuable to us. We hadn't put him back there, but I think since he's been here, he's probably averaged about 15 yards or so for his career in punt returns and kickoff returns. So he's better than me. And I had the conversation with him when he was a freshman that if he hadn't broken all of the records here, not just mine, but all of them, then he would have probably underachieved. I thought he was that good early on, and he's proved us right.
Well, how much of it has come to him because of his work, and how much of it is just because of your talent?
He has talent. This guy, he got hands that are unbelievable, but he works now at practice. Once stretch is over, and we're routes on there and one-on-ones and all that stuff, and then reps at practice. He's going. He's not one of those guys that's gonna take one rep and get out. I mean, we don't really allow him to do that anyway. But we're taking 5 reps in a row. I don't care where the pass is caught, whether it's downfield or hitch route or curl route. He's back on the line of scrimmage. So he's worked himself in great shape. And he's always been pretty dedicated and in his workouts and all that stuff, and he's gotten stronger. But one of the real most important things about Nick is a 3.4 GPA student. He'll be graduating in he's doing his student teaching this spring. So he's been solid. Him and his brother, they've been a blessing to have here at ASU.
Coach, in the interest of time, we're going to have to cut it short this morning.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate the time this morning. Good luck against Alabama A&M, and we will talk to you next Monday.
Thank you. See.
Thank you. That brings us to Prairie View head coach, Coach Northern. Is Coach Northern on the call?
Hello?
Coach Northern.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, sir.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. We appreciate you taking time to adjust your schedule. I know you've got the press conference coming up in Shreveport, but talk a little bit about your time off, and then you've got the Shreveport Classic against Jackson State, and we'll open it up for questions.
Yeah, we only gave our guys 2 real days off. One was Sunday after the trip back from Montgomery, and the other was Saturday. Every other day we practiced. Full gear, and a couple mornings we did some morning runs. I just felt like, and as a staff, we felt like at the pace that we play at, it's hard to give guys, 3 or 4 days off and then expect them to come back, ready to practice at the tempo that we practice. Looking forward to the Jackson State game. Yes, I am in Shreveport for a press conference, and just looking at some film. They got some very good guys at every level. They make you defend the whole field from front to back and side to side. And on defense, they make the field real small. They got the two big guys in the middle, and got those linebackers sitting behind them, and they have enough speed on the outside, like I said, to make the field much smaller for them to have to defend.
We'll open it up for questions for head coach Heisman Northern from Prairie View A&M.
Hey, Coach, good morning to you. Ty Miller from Sheridan Broadcasting.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Coach, have you decided on the starting quarterback for this week's game?
No, I haven't.
And you will take that up to game time again?
More than likely, yeah. We'll look at the injury situation. We'll look at the, how the practices go, and we'll make a decision come game time.
What about your red zone offense, Coach? Have you worked on that more since the Alabama State game?
Yes, we worked on all phases of it. We practice a lot of situational football. We don't just go out there and run plays for just the sake of running plays. We, work on our red zone offense. We work on our coming out offense, our 2 minute and our 4 minute. We just, as a coaching staff, so we're gonna do some of the same things. We'll add a wrinkle or two here or there, but the biggest thing is not getting the penalties in the red zone. Finding a way to get an explosive play to, where we don't have to make it a long drive, where we can get some easy shots into the end zone and maybe win a jump ball or two, or get a guy in space one-on-one and hope he wins that matchup. Those are some things that we, try to focus on, getting the ball to our playmakers no matter where we are on the field.
Coach, a lot of focus is on the East this weekend with Alabama State versus A&M. Yet in the West, you have a shot to win that division should Arkansas Pine Bluff stumble. Have you spoken to your players about that?
No, I have not. Like I say, I just tell our guys focus on that area of the wall that we're painting, and just keep focusing on that. Don't look at the big picture yet. Focus on the task at hand. What can we see in the scope? Don't worry about everything that's outside of the scope.
Okay, Coach, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Heisman, it's Ross with the Clarion Ledger in Jackson. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you today?
Good. You've mentioned before on the call about all the road games you guys play. Is it 6 in a row?
Yes, it is 6.
What? Just tell me why that is. How did that happen?
Well, we have a couple of classics mixed in there. We played in Dallas against Grambling. We're going to Shreveport to play Jackson State, which normally would have been a home game, but because of our stadium situation right now, we play Southern and Jackson in Shreveport, I think, for the next couple of years until we get our own campus facility. We go to Texas State to play them as they're getting ready to leave to the WAC, and then we go to Alcorn, a natural rotation where we go to play them since we played them at home last year. But like I say, we're not going to complain about it. Like I say, we just get our movie collection. We'll take some rides and try to see if we can win some games no matter where they're played.
You mentioned the stadium situation. What is it about the stadium? Where does your home stadium stand right now?
Let me ask you this. Have you ever been to Prairie View?
I have not.
Okay. Do me a favor. Go online and Google our stadium, and you'll see how big it is. And, I don't think our stadium can handle the crowd that a good Jackson State team will bring, or a good Southern crowd would bring over to our facility. I mean, we seat about 6,000, and that may be stretching it. So we got to, and don't get me wrong, coming to Shreveport is an outstanding deal because it is a big money maker for Prairie View A&M University in terms of, going away, getting a guarantee, and still being able to, play in an outstanding venue.
You said it will continue. You continue to play Jackson State in Shreveport for. Is it a number of years set to it? Or?
From what I gather, it's until we get our own campus stadium built. And I was told. Now, this is what I was told, that they will start construction on our stadium next spring. Now, I know the spring for me goes from January until about April. So hopefully by then we'll have some bulldozers and some cranes on our campus building the stadium.
Any other questions for Coach Northern? Coach, as always, we appreciate the time this morning, and thanks for adjusting your schedule. Good luck against the Tigers on Saturday, and we will talk to you next Monday.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. That brings us to Alcorn State head coach Melvin Spears. Is Coach Spears on the call?
Good morning.
Good morning, Coach. A big win for your guys against Concordia, a homecoming victory. If you could talk a little bit about that, and then you head down to Baton Rouge to play Southern this weekend, and we'll open it up for questions after that.
We had an excellent time here at homecoming. All our folk came out. We had a full house. And certainly Coach Gaines came in and with his group of guys that really have gotten better throughout the whole league. I've seen them 2 or 3 times in the last 10 years. And I can tell you those guys was much better. They had pretty good skilled guys. But, you know, the layoff, we got some guys back. And certainly our young quarterback, Darius Smith, came in and played outstanding to go along with a very stingy defense that did a great job. And in light of that, we had an opportunity. It's always a blessing to win. And now we get an opportunity to go down in hostile territory to play against Southern University. You know, they're always tough at home, and they've been playing very good football. So we look forward to the opportunity to go down there and have another shootout in the Southwestern Athletic Conference.
We'll open it up for questions for head coach Melvin Spears from Alcorn State. Coach, you talked about your new young quarterback in Smith. Talk about the things that he's done well and kind of preparation, how you get back into the conference race a little bit.
Well, we had 2 weeks to kind of look at all of them, and certainly his poise and the things that he's doing, conducting the offense, doing the little things that we were asking him to do. You know, at the end of the day, he was the guy that was standing, not to say that the other guy didn't have great athleticism, but at this point in time now, we're looking for a guy to be the conductor, a quarterback, quote-unquote. And Darius got the dart this time, and he did a pretty good job to go along with an excellent running game with Arnold Walker, who got more than 100 yards, to go along with a stringent defense. Defensively, we're doing an excellent job with Coach Roach's group and the guys that goes along with him.
And Coach, coming off that two consecutive bye weeks, you come out and actually Concordia kind of hit you in the mouth a little bit early, take the lead, but then your team really responded and scored 51 straight points. But another big game for your rushing game as well.
Well, in order for you to kind of take a little pressure off those young quarterbacks, you got to be able to run the football. And I think in order for you to continue to be better, get better on offense, it has to be a more balanced attack being opposed to being a little one-sided, and continue to play tough defense. And again, we played excellent special teams. As you know, all 3 phases, it makes a difference when it comes down to winning and losing.
Hey, Coach, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, it's Rob J. with Telesouth. How you doing this morning?
Good. How are you, Rob?
Okay. Coach, with Southern being a lot of players being suspended from that team coming up for this game, how will that prepare you? How will you approach that game?
Well, it really won't affect our pressure because the main thing is that they still play the same type of scheme. They still do some of the same things. Our task force putting together a plan really comes with respect to their philosophy and the things that they're trying to do. The players really doesn't come into play until we get down to the specifics of who we want to attack and things of that nature. So therefore, by them missing 16 guys, really not going to really matter to us a whole lot when it comes down to putting together a plan that where we can come down and be successful in a hostile environment.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Yeah. Coach, this is Perrin Keys down here at Baton Rouge, the Advocate. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm curious if you've got any. We're going back quite a few years now, but what memories do you have of Casa Grande High School and being over in Baltimore and Morgan, and how did you stumble from place to place, so to speak?
Well, we had an opportunity to go down. I used to be an engineer at Motorola, and Coach Mitchell and I and all of us was real good buddies. And Coach was playing for the Phoenix Cardinals at that time, and we had a good group worked out and all those good things. And he got an opportunity to go down to Casa Grande High School, and lo and behold, we worked out all the time. I got a chance to go down there with him, and the first year we took a team over that only had won. At that time, it was 1990. That team had not won a game since 1959, and the first year I think we went 7-4. It's just hard work. We came back the following year, then we went 13-1 and lost in the quarterfinals of the state championship, and then Coach got an opportunity to go over and be the offensive coordinator at Morgan State with Coach Ricky Diggs, who's now his offensive coordinator. And I went over to see Coach them. We went over there after he moved over there. And through meetings and things of that nature, being affiliated with Stone Mitchell, I got a chance to go over with them as well with Coach Diggs to be the linebackers coach, and he eventually became the coordinator. And we had really started to turn that thing around when Coach Diggs left. Coach took over, and we had a pretty good year. And then lo and behold, quite naturally, Doug Williams, who's my first cousin, was going to have an opportunity to come to Grambling. And he brought me down to Grambling and put me on the offensive side of the ball. So the rest is kind of history. 10 years there, 4 national championships, and got a chance to go to Texas Southern, which they were doing a good job. And now Alabama State and Coach Barlow, we went to the championship game last year, and they continue that great legacy that they have down there at Hornet Land and doing a good job there. Now I get an opportunity to come home, and home is really what it's all about. And I think our players are playing very hard. We got a young group that's is on the cutting edge, so we look forward to some great things from them as well.
Two other quick things, Coach. First of all, is it kind of small world feeling? You see all the same faces years and years later, and then also just this is not new territory for you to explore, but can you just kind of touch on how you got 150 guys from Louisiana on your staff and on the roster and everything like that?
Well, I think it boils down to outstanding relationships, and when you look at all the teams that I've had a chance to be affiliated with, even when you think about the Grambling team, we were at Grambling for 10 years, and in 10 years, our team went to the championship game 8 of the 10 years, so regardless of who was coaching them. And now, on the flip side of it, we go over and bring 32. I recruit 32 guys to go to Texas Southern. And then Texas Southern team kind of moved themselves in a situation where we played them in the championship game, and then I had an opportunity to go down to Alabama State and bring in some outstanding young men down there that are doing an excellent job. I think it boils down with the ties that I have in Louisiana, having a guy like Michael Roach, who's been around a long time, who helped recruit those areas along with myself back in the day. And then when you have infused a guy like Bruce Eugene, Tremont Douglas, all those guys that have those great relationships down there, Coach Matthews, who really took a team to the Dome, St. Helena, then went back with the East Feliciana team, went 13-1. So those ties to just that arena and that area says a whole lot about where we are right now. And the reason why these guys are on the staff is because they're great professionals. They understand schematically what we want to get done. And the thing that's most important is the fact that they love these players. They love kids doing and trying to get them to do the right thing.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Any final questions for Coach Spears?
Hey, Mel, it's Ross. How you doing?
Hey, Ross.
Before the season started, obviously a lot of hype around Brandon and the whole Air Canada thing. And just tell me how you kind of handled things the last few weeks.
Well, the thing about it always boils down to the beginning of the season, and we kind of inherited the Air Canada tag. We came in and we went along with it. As you know, we got here 2 days before the actual signing date, so therefore we kind of went into the whole process. But the thing is that having a legendary coach like Marino Castle, he used to always tell us is that last year's stars does not necessarily need to be this year's star. It's all about the guy that does the work. It's all about the guy in the arena. And certainly when you think about the two individuals, it's all about work. And what we're looking for in order to continue to matriculate our program to another level, we're looking for a guy that does all the things from a quarterback nature. And, Brandon's an excellent – it's not so much about what Brandon didn't do. He's an excellent athlete. But at the end of the day, we need a guy that can really conduct the thing and do the things that we need to do from a quarterback nature. And lo and behold, it was all about competition. And I think every position is that way. We do it on a regular basis. And the one thing that we want our players to always understand is that the best guy is going to play in the arena.
Coach, we appreciate the time this morning. Good luck this weekend in Baton Rouge, and we will talk to you next Monday.
Look forward to it.
Thank you. That brings us to Arkansas Pine Bluff head coach Monty Coleman. Is Coach Coleman on the call?
Yes, I am.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
You had a week off. You've got to prepare for a Grambling team coming off a victory. If you could talk about those preparations, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Well, we had a partial week off. We prepared majority of the week last week. We practiced 4 days. I gave the kids a couple days off, including Sunday, and let them get their legs back underneath them. We had some very
intense practices. It wasn't as long as normal, but we got a lot of work done with our team at 707 and 907 and stuff like that. We are preparing for Grambling this week. It was a good, very timely bye week for us to get some of the guys rested up, and some of the guys with little boo-boos to get rested up also. So we will be hosting Grambling here at home, and should be a real good football game.
We'll open it up for questions for head coach Monty Coleman from Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Coach Coleman, I.C. Morrell, Pine Bluff Commercial. I know you didn't want to talk about Thursday, but have you determined what your game plan is going to be like without some of your key players this coming Saturday?
Well, what I would like to do, IC, and this is for all the other reporters that's out listening, is make a statement concerning the suspensions. We had 25 guys suspended for games, and right now we're still talking with the league office as far as when these guys will be suspended. There's several proposals on the table, and we're just trying to pick the best one for us. But regardless, I'm sorry.
No, I didn't think.
Go ahead, Coach.
But just it is what it is. The thing that we're trying to do is work as close with the league as possible, do what they're asking us to do to get these guys back on the playing field as soon as possible so we can compete. And that's what we'll do. We're talking with Commissioner Sharp, and we'll work with him throughout the day to see the severity of this suspension or when it will actually take place. But there are proposals on the table, and that's what I have to say about the suspension. But we're going to play. We're going to play Grambling regardless of who we've got. The game's going to kick off at 2:30, and we're going to play. We're going to play our very best. That's what we get paid for as coaches to coach, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to put our best guys on the field and go out and try to win us a football game.
Coach, and I want to get off the subject as much as I can, but are you trying to get some of the guys eligible to play this Saturday? That's made the statement.
Some of the guys eligible? What do you mean?
Are you trying to get? When you talk about proposals, are you trying to get some of the guys who are suspended eligible to play this Saturday?
Well, the thing the league wants to do, and the thing that I want to do is try to make it as easy as possible without getting guys hurt. When you lose 25 players, and a lot of those guys play either offense, defense, or special teams, it leaves you a little short-handed. And we all know that kids get a little winded, and the thing that we want to do is try to have a good supply of guys so guys won't get winded and possibly injure themselves on the field. So there are proposals on the table. We are talking about all the guys that names came up to be suspended will be suspended.
Right, I got you. Okay, Coach, talk about the excitement of going against Doug Williams. I think this is your first time meeting against him as head coaches.
Doug and I are real good friends, of course. I played against Doug when he was at Tampa Bay, and I was very fortunate to play with him when he came to the Redskins. Doug, I consider a friend. We had lunch together, or we talked together down at. We went to Houston for our coaches meetings. And he'll always be a friend. He's a brother to us, to me, and I love that brother for what he stands for. I know he will have his team ready to go. I'm glad it's not about me and him. It is about our teams, and the thing that he's going to do is put his best players on the field, and that's what I propose to do this week also. So it should be a good match between the two of us.
Right. And how often does your club think about, the Western Division Championship? Right now, you guys are in the driver's seat to clinch that championship.
Well, what we're doing, IC, is taking it one game at a time. We're not trying to foresee anything or look past anybody. But our number one objective right now is to play against Grambling this weekend and win that particular football game. So the whole mindset with our football team and coaches is just taking it one game at a time, not looking past. It would be great. It would be absolutely great to make it to the championship game. But if we don't win the football games, then we won't make it. So we're just taking it one game at a time.
Right. What concerns you about Grambling State the most, matchup-wise?
Their resilience. They're a very good football team, very well coached. Got a receiver that's catching the football. I think he leads the SWAC or very close to the SWAC in number of touchdowns. They're a very good football team. They played hard the last couple of weeks. They won in overtime against Valley. They beat Concordia. I think it was 44-0. So, very explosive football team and a very well coached football team. A lot of history, a lot of tradition there. So, I know Coach Williams will have his team ready to go when they get here to Golden Lions Stadium.
Okay. What do you expect the crowd to be like?
I'm not sure. I hope we sell it out. I hope we can get all of our fans, all the alumni, all the students, and all the people here in Pine Bluff to come out and support the Golden Lions. I think these young men have played their hearts out this year, and I think they deserve the crowd to come out and support them.
Okay.
Any final questions for Head Coach Coleman from UAPB? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time this morning. Good luck against Grambling. We'll talk to you next Monday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That brings us to Grambling State Head Coach Doug Williams. Is Coach Williams on the call?
Yes, I am.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
2 victories in a row for your team, an overtime win against Valley over the weekend. If you could just kind of summarize that, and then you head to Arkansas Pine Bluff to play an old teammate, and we'll open it up for questions after that.
Okay, yeah, it was homecoming in Grambling, so that was an awful lot of Lumens in town, and the W itself, the win was a big win for us. We know we was playing a team like Mississippi Valley, who just last week, Jackson escaped, and all the hype was, Valley was getting close. So we did not take them lightly. We understood what we was up against, and I can certainly say that they played their hearts out, and we had an opportunity early in the third quarter to kind of put them away. We came out and scored a TD on the first drive and lead them 24-7 to try to get some breathing room, but they didn't quit. And the next thing you know, they scored 17 unanswered points, and we went to overtime, and we was fortunate that they missed the field goal on their drive, and in 2 plays we was able to score to get away from that, because I certainly did not want to go back in another overtime period with them, especially when they was running the football. And this week, you're right, we go to Pine Bluff, and one thing I do know from a discipline standpoint, knowing Monty for a while and who he is and what he stands for defensively, and offense, I know they're going to be ready to play. They got Eric Dooley, the offense coordinator, who spent a lot of time down in Southern, so he's very well aware what offense that they can do. And, there's a lot of respect for Monty and myself, because we had an opportunity to play together in Washington, and we always joke around. We call each other kinfolks, and it's a good feeling when you can be on the other side of a guy and coaching teams that get opportunities to deal with young guys every day and hopefully steer them in the right direction. So that's where we are.
We'll open it up for questions for Head Coach Doug Williams from Grambling State.
Hey, Coach Williams. Good morning. It's Ty Miller from Sheridan Broadcasting.
Hey, Ty. How you doing today, man?
Pretty good, man. Just want to ask you about the number of penalties your team gets. How much will that continue to affect your team as you go down the stretch here?
You know what, Ty, and glad you said that, because that's one of the things we preach every day. And the problem with that, a lot of them become personal penalties. One kid that's assumed the starting job a couple weeks ago, he did something, and we benched him. And, he lost his starting job because it wasn't the first time that we had told him about some things that he do that caused the team penalties. And we just got to get away from it, because we do have an awful lot of penalties, and sometimes you try to find out how to coach it, but I think as you get the guys in that you work with every day, you find a way to curb that.
What's been the common thread in the last 2 wins you've had with your team?
They played hard. We was fortunate enough, and we all know that, Concordia might not be your average team in the SWAC conference, and we played hard against them. We made some things happen. I thought we played hard against Mississippi Valley the first two quarters and first drive. and put ourselves in that position. But then down the stretch, they was able to do what I know Pine Bluff has done exceptionally well, was run the football. We are a very, very poor tackling football team. From a defensive standpoint and offensively, we got to learn how to sustain drives. And I think a lot of it has to do with, you got two young quarterbacks. They need to understand the importance of moving the chain. I try to tell them all the time that first down leads to touchdowns, and that's something that they have to learn.
Not knowing exactly what players will be suspended this week at Arkansas Pine Bluff, does it put you at sort of a disadvantage as you prepare for it?
I think the most important thing that we cannot afford to do is to concentrate on who will not be playing at Pine Bluff. That's not our concern. Because, we played a lot of teams that we felt like, we probably could match up against, and we didn't. So you never know. When I played here at Grambling, there were so many people waiting on that opportunity to get a chance to play when somebody faltered. And we don't know who he has on this football team that can come in and probably play better than the guys that would not be playing. So the worst thing that we can do is say, well, so-and-so is not playing today, so we should do this. That's not the way it works. The key here, we got to go out and practice like it's Pine Bluff no matter who's there. We didn't know what was going to take place a couple weeks ago, so in our mindset, we had to take it one game at a time, and we're still at that stage.
And also, when you talk about the penalties and what happened with Pine Bluff and Southern 2 weeks ago, what are the lessons to be learned in terms of discipline and doing what you have to do?
Well, discipline is a major factor, and we talk about that every day. One of the things when no official came in to talk to me on Saturday, and the one thing I told him, and I'm not going to blame the officials, but I think sometimes they might let a guy get away with a little bit, whether it's on my team or the other team, that we cannot afford. And I told him, if either one of the guys do something that is out of character, throw the flag, because I think they got to take control of the game. And when I say control, I don't mean throw a flag on every little thing, to prolong it. But I think it's some things sometimes that they can flag and they want, and even if they see it there, but they'll swear they didn't see it sometimes, and I understand that. But I think, too, we as coaches, we got to preach that to our team, and I certainly did that last week, is to let them know that because we don't need the conference, we don't need the schools and the individual getting the black eye over it.
Okay, thank you, Doug.
All right.
But you had to be excited about how your team actually responded. I mean, Valley scores a 17-play drive to tie it up, but then you head to overtime, and your defense and your offense both stepped up in that overtime period.
Yeah, we really did. The key here is to get a win. It was homecoming, a big crowd, and they was there to the last moment. And we gave us a ray of hope early in the football game. Like I said, we was up 24-7. But as things went along, we didn't play as well, especially offense and defense. We got no drives going because of penalties. We couldn't stop them because they was running the football, so nobody went home. Everybody was there, and as a coach, you want to be able to breathe a little sigh of relief sometimes, but the little time I had to breathe sigh of relief, they took it away from me.
And talk a little bit about, again, Mario every week just kind of steps up his game a little bit higher, it seems.
Yeah, you hate to give one guy as much credit as, but if you look back at our football team, Mario has been the guy for us all year, and that guy who's been able to make plays. And each week in, week out, we got to find a place a way to get the ball to Mario, and we've been able to do that. And I'm sure Pine Bluff and whoever we play, their whole job is to try to make sure Mario does not touch the football, and they should do that. But hopefully every week that somebody will stand up. We're fortunate enough the running back has stood up a little bit at times. Hopefully somebody on the other side, the receiver, will be able to stand up and find a way to take that pressure off Mario. But somewhere along the line, we still got to find a way to give him football. We're never going to go in with the idea of not throwing him the football.
That brings us to Coach Hayes from Jackson State. Is Coach Hayes on the call?
Yes, I am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Standing in for Coach Kamaji, who's in Shreveport at the Shreveport Classic press conference. We appreciate you taking out the time this morning. If you could talk a little bit about Jackson coming off the bye week and then preparations for Prairie View, the game in Shreveport, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Okay, it was a much-needed rest. Needed to get a lot of guys back from nagging injuries. I think we played 7 straight games, and it's always good to get your feet back under you and get those guys prepared and ready. It's a new season for us now. We started the season all over again after this break, and we're taking every game, one at a time. And our goal is that we're like in camp mode all over again. We're recommitting ourselves to being the very best that we can as a team, because we know we have really good potential to be good, but we're going to continue to push ourselves to be the very best that we can be as an overall team. And that's the goal that Coach Kamaji wanted us to have, and that's what we're going to push toward this week. So Prairie View is an excellent opponent. Great coaching staff. I have a lot of respect for those coaches down there. Worked with a couple of those guys, been past staffs before, so I know those guys down there are going to be well coached, and those guys play hard. It's always good to get good competition. It gives us an opportunity to see where we are. Always facing really good competition. I think those guys are going to come in. They're going to do a fantastic job of preparation, and we just got to make sure we do one as well.
We'll open it up for questions for Assistant Coach Hayes from Jackson State University. Coach, obviously the time, you got a little extra time, but your offense really sputtered against Mississippi Valley, and any fine tweaking that you had to make heading into the rest of the season now?
Well, I think the biggest tweak was just to make sure that we're focused. Being focused is, you're dealing with 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, and sometimes, they're not always as focused as you would like them to be. And I think with us recommitting ourselves and kind of just taking everything over, and really starting our season over again, just in our thought process, I think we got to refocus our young men as a collective, and that's our goal as coaches, to refocus our young men to go in and get the best out of each other. I think it's not more of tweaking the offense or tweaking the defense or anything like that. I just think it's more just focusing on our opponent and being the best that we can be as a group.
Hey, Darren, it's Ross. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Ross?
Just talk about, the Black National Championship goal for you guys. I mean, now you're back up there, probably going to be number 2. It seems like players and coaches were kind of excited this past weekend to hear about, there's obviously a couple of teams' losses and you guys moving up. How big of a goal is that, and do you guys talk about it a lot? Is it being talked about now with 4 weeks left?
Not at all. I mean, we may talk about it as coaches, but that's not anything that we want our young men to focus on. Our only goal is to focus on Prairie View. That's our only goal right now as a group, and I don't even know who we play after that. We just take it one game at a time and just focus on that, because, of course, as I said before, you're dealing with young men, and you can't see the forest for the trees. You got to take your time and make sure that you focus on the task at hand. If you focus on anything other than the task at hand, then sometimes you lose sight of what's right in front of you, and what's right in front of you is a very good, well-coached Prairie View A&M University team, and that's our only goal. That's our only sight that we have. That's our national championship right there. And then, and that's how we look at it. Each game is its own individual national championship for us. That's the only thing that we're concerned with as a team.
Hey, Coach Rob J. with Teleconference. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, Rob?
Okay, Coach. Going into the off week, you had a couple of injuries. One in particular to Donovan Robinson. How is he? And how's the injury situation on your team right now?
Rehab has been great for him and for all those other guys. Getting rid of those nagging injuries, I think Donovan's going to be ready to play. Donovan knows how important this game is, and I think they definitely respect our opponent. And as defensive ends, Donovan and LeBeau respect the defensive end that they got over at Prairie View. I think they're 1, 2, and 3 collectively in the conference. So they have a lot of respect for those guys over there, and I think he's going to be ready to play without a question.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Coach, with Donovan getting healthy and that combination that he and LeBeau have been able to put up in the defensive line, talk a little bit about their progress and some of the numbers that they're putting up.
It's been truly a blessing, man, to have such a difference maker like a LeBeau and a Donovan. Donovan has already been that guy. You know, he was that guy, and our goal was to go out and find someone that was opposite of him. And I think we did an excellent job of finding a young man that's come in, has been an impact player for us, and LeBeau. And I think both those guys together, they complement one another, much like we had many years ago when we had Marcus Bernard, who plays with the Cleveland Browns, and we had Sam Washington opposite of him. Those two guys complement each other, and I think these two guys do very, very well the same. You know, they have a goal to be the very best that they can, but it's good that they kind of, you know, mimic one another in their play and their level of intensity and their drive to be really good at what they do.
Hey, Darren, Ross again. You mentioned the defensive ends in this game are 1, 2, and 3 in sacks in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I guess as a defensive coordinator, you know, how exciting is that for you to go into a game with those players playing in it?
It's always a blessing. I mean, you know, coaches are only good as the players. You know, you get guys who are geniuses, but you know, or an 11. You know, so you get guys who are you know, might not be the smartest coaches in the world, but they 11-0. You know, so I mean, you're only as good as your players. You know, your players make you smart, good coaches. You know, so I think everyone can contest to that who's coached this game understands how important it is to have good players.
What do you expect from those guys? I mean, those three guys. Do you expect a lot of sacks, a lot of quarterback hurries? I mean,
well, I hope not to expect too much from that guy over at Prairie View. I mean, he's a tremendous football player. I just hope he don't have a breakout day against us, you know. But I respect him. I respect their coaches, and I know he's gonna be a good football. He's gonna do well for him. But hopefully, you know, in terms of having a great day, you know, and we have the best day as a collective. You know, that's our goal. You know, anytime you're in competition with somebody, you hope that your player has a tremendous day.
Any final questions for Assistant Coach Hayes? Coach, we appreciate the time. Good luck on Saturday against Prairie View, and we'll talk to Coach Comagee on Monday.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. That brings us to Mississippi Valley head coach Carl Morgan. Is Coach Morgan on the call?
Yes, I am.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Tough overtime loss for your guys at Grambling. Talk a little bit about that game, and then talk a little bit about Texas Southern coming to town, and we'll open it up for questions.
Went up to Grambling this past Saturday, tied them on the last play of the game. We had a quarterback scramble and got in the end zone with 0 seconds left on the clock, kicked the extra point, went in overtime. In our first possession, they won the toss, decided to play defense. We didn't get a first down and attempted a field goal, missed it. They came on their possession, and on the first play, 6 yards, and then got a personal foul penalty unless we hit out of bounds to hit, and that moved the ball down. And then on the second play, it threw a fade pass up to Mario Lewis. He caught it, and that was the end of the game. And I thought the kids played hard. Battled Grambling all afternoon, and good game and in a good setting with homecoming up there. And like I said, I thought we really went in with the right mindset, started fast, like we said we wanted to do. Didn't have any turnovers, we didn't create any turnovers also, which was minus. But I thought the kids played well. Texas Southern's coming in this weekend. They're coming off of a victory over Central State, and I've seen them a couple times on TV. I saw them on both Thursday nights. And offensively, got a good running game, got an athletic quarterback, and still a good team defensively. Going into the Jackson State game, they were leading the country in goal defense, scoring defense. I still believe they got some real good players off of last year's championship team. It's going to be a challenge.
We'll open it up for questions for head coach Carl Morgan from Mississippi Valley State.
Hey, Carl, it's Ross, the Clarion Ledger. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
The last 3 weeks, so close. I mean, is it kind of like a a movie replaying over and over again for you? I mean, how do you handle what's happened the last 3 weeks?
I think it beats the alternative, whereas at this point in time last year, I don't think we were that close at all. So that's a positive deal. I think, I think the fact that the players are still locked in and still trying and still playing hard and for everybody, for themselves and for us as a coaching staff. And we're encouraged. It would be better if we had won a couple of games up until this point, but we're encouraged that we got 3 weeks left, and hopefully we can win a couple of games out of these last 3 games.
With that, Coach, it seems like your guys are getting hungrier with these close finishes rather than a little bit more discouraged. That's got to be a testament not only to your coaches but the kids that you've got playing the game for you.
Yeah, and I think they've been resilient all year long. The players, the coaching staff have done a good job of staying positive, accentuating the positive, trying to correct the negative, and like I said, but most of the credit goes to the players. Like I said, each week they come in and they have the right mindset, and they want to win. They want to win, and that's the plus. So nobody has given up, and everybody's still committed to turning this thing around.
Coach Morgan, Brandon Benson with the Tiger Broadcast in Houston, Texas. You have the Texas Southern Tigers coming into town on this week. What do you like about the Tigers coming in?
I think they're real good athletically on defense. I know number 7. I think the defensive lineman, I think it's probably one of the better defensive football players in the conference that I've seen the last 2 years. And I think the running game they have on offense is a potent one. It's steady, and I think the quarterback is the guy that can cause us problems because he's big and strong and he's hard to bring down.
One more question for you, Coach. What adjustments are you looking to make? You're at home, and this could be a very good game to win your first game of the season.
We're hoping we can win. Like I said, the good thing about it is homecoming. I hear homecoming here is pretty nice. There's always a big crowd, a lot of enthusiasm and excitement. So I hope that that will give us some extra incentive and motivation to spur us on. But this is the defending champions from last year, a proud team with I know Coach Ramsey a little bit, and I know he'll have them prepared, ready to go. And I said, we're excited. Just look for a chance. It's another opportunity to win. We haven't done that yet, so we're still excited, still hopeful for a victory.
Well, good luck, Coach, and we'll talk to you later down the road.
Thank you, sir.
Coach Morgan, good morning. This is Charles Epps from WPRL.
Charles, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I remember early in the season you talked about it turning this thing around. You lose big, then you lose little, then you turn the corner, then you win little, then you win big. You think you've got to that next step?
Well, we're losing little, so that's a plus. Like I said, when we first got here last year, we were losing big. And at the beginning of the year, we're losing big. So I think we closed things, we closed the gap a little bit, and I think that victory, when we get one, it'll be a lot easier to do. So we're still searching for that first win. And like I was saying earlier, I think the kids are still 100% with us and still trying. Even though we got seniors who are going down to the last 2 weeks, and they're hoping to win a game before they get out of here for the last couple of years, so they won't say, hey, I was 0 for whatever my last 2 years at Mississippi Valley. So everybody's still encouraged, and I think the fact that we're getting closer, that's causing us to lean for the tape. We see the finish line there, so we're trying to get to that elusive victory.
As you look back on it over the last several weeks, is there any one point in time in which you felt like, okay, now we got something going here? Is it any one game going back a few weeks, maybe the Alcorn game, maybe another game after that, in which you felt like, okay, you put the brakes on, now you're at least maybe pointed in the right direction?
I think Alcorn was the week where we were at halftime, we're close, and went to the second half in the game, and I think that was the start of it. It gave us some confidence that week, and I think think it continued the following week. Southern Purview, went to Purview, and we actually had to lead the fourth quarter, which was a plus. So I think it started at the all-point game and kind of kept going. They were up in the road to Alabama A&M, but I think the positive thing about A&M was the second half. We were down 37-7, and the game wound up 37-14. So we actually won the second half, heading into Jackson State, and I think they carried over. It wasn't a victory, but it was a victory to put them. We went out and won the second half. We were trying to get back into the game. We couldn't get back into it. But we tried to get ourselves in a good situation for the following week, which was Jackson State. So I think that kind of carried over and kind of got us back on track after that first half of Alabama A&M.
Coach, what's been the difference offensively in the last several weeks because you guys are scoring more points?
I think we're able to run the ball a little bit, and I think we've used two quarterbacks, and we got one guy, Marvin Pittman, that can do a good job on the option, and then we got another quarterback, Derek Jones, who does a good job of managing the game a little, and so we haven't been throwing the ball real well and throwing for many yards. I'd like to see us give us a little bit more, get Paul Cox more involved in the offense, but the fact that we're moving the ball via the run is a positive because we're keeping drives alive, and that's the thing on offense. You got to consistently stay on the field.
Coach, was there ever any thought of going for two after you scored on the last play of the game?
No. And the thing about the extra point, it barely got over the upright, the crossbar. It barely got over the crossbar. And so I look back, we went for it on fourth down like four times in the game. And I look back on, we were down there close. The first drive of the game, we got down to the inside the 20, and we went for it on fourth down. And the reason being is that our kicking game, our field goal game hasn't been that good. We've missed too many field goals to the point. And I kind of felt like when we got down there close with a chance to kick, we were probably better off going for it because of the past experience with the missed field goals and missed extra points this year. But no, we never did think about going for two. We're trying to just go to overtime and hopefully win it in overtime.
Any final questions for Coach Morgan from Mississippi Valley? Coach, we appreciate the time this morning. Good luck against Texas Southern, and we will talk to you next Monday.
Sounds good. Take care.
Thank you. That brings us to Southern University head coach Stump Mitchell. Is Coach Mitchell on the call?
Yes, I am.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coming off a bye week, talk a little bit about the preparations, using the extra time and in preparation for Alcorn State coming to town, what you see from the Braves, and then we will open it up for questions.
What we've been doing is trying to get these young men caught up in the classroom, some guys, because we've been on the road quite a bit and we'll continue to be on the road. So that's been our main emphasis with the rules where these guys have to pass 9 hours. Our main thing has been getting them caught up in some classwork, and also because we played many games, getting them healthy. We did not have all our players our last ball game due to various injuries, so it's been an opportunity for those guys to nurse some injuries and guys to take a little opportunity to get renewed life and get ready for the last 4 ball games.
Talk a little bit about Alcorn State and what you see from the Braves.
Very aggressive defensively. These guys like to blitz, to both get to the quarterback, of course, but also to stop the run. Defensively, they're a pretty good defensive front. They're only giving up 106 yards on the ground rushing, and up until this past game, they were only giving up about 3.2 yards on the run, which is very good run defense. Offensively, they like to run the ball as well as pass the ball. They have some playmakers on that side of the ball as well, so we'll have our work cut out. They do a variety of things from their packages, and we'll hopefully be ready for the test.
We'll now open it up for questions for Southern University head coach Stump Mitchell.
Coach, this is James Verrett from Cox Sports Television. How you doing?
I'm good, James. Thanks for asking.
When you look at Alcorn State on film, which quarterback do you think will give you the most trouble out of Darius Smith or Brandon Bridge?
I tell you what, that's a tough deal. Both of those guys are exceptional when it comes to passing and running. But what we have to do is try to get pressure on both of those guys because they are playmakers with their arms as well as with their legs. So it doesn't matter which one come after us. We're going to have to be ready to prepare because both of them are unique and I think pretty good players.
Coach Mitchell, good morning. This is Charles Evans from WPRL.
Good morning, Charles.
Yeah, earlier, Coach Spears talked about your relationship, you guys' relationship. Talk a little bit about Coach Spears and what you know.
Well, I think I've forgotten a whole lot, to tell you the truth, because Coach Spears and I gave him his first coaching job in high school. We go back there, and Coach Diggs gave him his first coaching job in college. We were not brothers, but I tell you what, we ran together. Whatever he was doing, I was doing. Whatever I was doing, he was doing. We were that close. And I met him through my cousin Tyrone Jones, who actually played here at Southern, but spent many a night in Coach Spears' home. Coach Spears and I, we go way back, a long ways. He and I, we used to work out together. We were pretty much brothers, to be perfectly honest. Whatever we were doing, one or the other knew. And wherever he was, I knew. Wherever I was, I wanted to make sure he knew where I was. So I always had a friend out there, someone who knew where we were at all times. So we go a long ways back. We've coached some of the same players. I had a player at Morgan that transferred and went to Grambling when he was there. So there are a lot of common threads, and both of us want to win this football game. I can assure you of that.
Coach, what do you tell your team after so many close calls, so many close losses, and then the unfortunate incident with Pine Bluff and the players being suspended? What do you kind of tell your team to keep them focused? Because you all have been, right there in just about every game.
We have to persevere. That's the bottom line. We have to persevere. There are a lot of things that have happened this past year that have definitely put us in bad situations, but we control what we do. Whether we win or we lose. We miss field goals, PATs. That's not on our opponents. That's on us. We threw interceptions for touchdowns. That's not on our opponents. That's on us. We have to manage. Everyone have to manage their position, and I have to manage this football team and try to find a way in order to get us to pull out a victory. So we all are managers of our positions, and right now we're not doing a very good job, either me as a coach or some of my players as players. But it all boils down on me. I have to make the right calls. That's the bottom line. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to get over the hump, but we're hoping we can this weekend.
I understand that you're appealing some of the suspensions. When do you expect to know the end result of all that?
Well, I think Commissioner Sharp will probably let us know at least by Thursday, and I'm sure if he could do it sooner than that, he will. But we're not appealing. Let me correct you. We're not appealing the suspensions because we are responsible for our own actions. What we're trying to get is not to have to take them all at once, but they all will be served.
Coach, in preparation for this week's game, pending if they will allow you to stagger the suspensions, do you practice thinking that those players will not play, or do you try to practice thinking that they will?
We're going to practice thinking that they will not play. That's how I'm going to practice, because those guys have more reps at doing what we do. So they can come in my opinion, and fill in more so than guys who have not gotten those reps. So we will give our guys that have not, that pretty much ran scout team, most of the reps defensively and offensively, as opposed to having the guys that have done it all along get most of the reps.
Coach, because of your numbers that were already down when you went into this season, how do you practice a scout team when many of your scout team guys will have to replace your starters?
Well, what our starters will now do is pretty much be the scout team guys for our offense and our defense. What we didn't do defensively is the side in which we got hurt on most of it, because all of our linebackers, or the majority of our linebackers, were involved in the situation. So those guys will serve more as scout teams for our offense. Offensively, we had two players, Lee Dawson and LaQuinton Evans, our receivers that plays a lot, that will have to serve a one-game suspension. So we'll be able to put some more receivers in. I think we're hurt more defensively than we are offensively.
How difficult of a week is this, knowing that it is homecoming and you'll have more distractions than you already have to deal with the suspensions, injuries, and everything else that goes along with the season?
Well, everything is difficult because Alcorn had been on a losing streak. They were able to get a win, and they feeling good about themselves. It's a homecoming not only for Southern, but also for Coach Spears and his contingent of coaches, some that were at the lab school, and players. So it's homecoming for everyone. With our guys, I think it's pretty good because we got an opportunity to nurse some injuries. We're still dealing with the situation that we had. Today we will have a counseling session. We've been doing quite a few things to allow these guys to know that we have to take control of our own actions. We're responsible for them. Yesterday we had a great opportunity to go to Mount Zion Church, and it was an awesome message by Pastor Brown. So we have not forgotten about this. And today we will at 4:00 we will have a counseling session where these guys get an opportunity to express themselves. No coaches will be there. So Dr. Lorenz is constantly moving forward, trying to shed a positive light on the university. Coach Pugh and everyone that's involved, Coach Earl Hill with the football program and all athletic programs, are trying to let these guys see that there's other ways to dealing with it, especially in trying situations in which we've been in this past season.
Coach, this is Charles Edmond again. Talk a little bit about the Alcorn-Southern rivalry. I mean, they are the closest school to Southern University. Geographically, you had an exciting game that came down to the final play in last year's game at Spink Stadium. Just give us your thoughts on the Alcorn-Southern rivalry.
Well, it's a big-time rivalry because, like you said, it's close. And also, we're competing for some of the same players. Coach Spears is from this area. Coach Roach is from this area. They have other coaches and players that are from this area. So it's a big-time rivalry, no question about that. You're trying to win the in-state battle for getting recruits, and winning the ball game goes a long ways towards getting that done, along with the vision and the mission of the coaches and also the universities.
Coach, we appreciate the time this morning. Good luck against Alcorn on Saturday, and we will talk to you next Monday.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you. That brings us to Texas Southern head coach Kevin Ramsey. Is Coach Ramsey on the call?
Yes, I am.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Congratulations, a big win for your guys against Central State, a homecoming victory, snapping a little skid for your guys. If you could talk a little bit about that game and then preparations to head up to Itabena and face Mississippi Valley State, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Well, I mean, it's always good to have a venue, a homecoming venue here, which, we had a good crowd, and, our guys, with all the homecoming extra activity is going on throughout the week. I thought that, we kind of came out on a little skid, but nevertheless, from the second half on, primarily defensively, we kind of swarmed around. I thought E.J. Jr. brought a scrappy unit down from Wilberforce, Ohio. And, offensively, Marcus Wright, I thought he kind of got in his groove running the ball, ran hard our backs. And, it was a good win for us. And, we getting ready to play another team that's very scrappy, that's been playing extremely hard football in Mississippi Valley. You know, those guys been playing well defensively, running around, and, you know, their backs, I think they run hard, and their scheme of what they're doing, you know, they really get after you, and they really have an attack approach. And, you know, that receiver over there, Cox, boy, ever since I've been here, I always thought that he was one of the finer receivers in this league.
We'll open it up for questions for head coach Ramsey from Texas Southern University.
Coach Ramsey, Brandon Benson with the Tiger Broadcast. Congratulations on the homecoming win on Saturday. Can you talk about about the play of Johnny Hollins and what he did in that football game?
Well, you know, Johnny Hollins, you know, we ask a lot from Johnny. Johnny, you know, of course, is, you know, in the trenches. And, you know, that's where it starts with us defensively, you know, changing line of scrimmage. I mean, you know, this crew we saw last week, you know, they spread us out, got a lot of empty sets. And so, you know, for those D linemen, that's a lot of running. And, you know, he sucked it up for us and really did a good job for us when it came to pass rushing for us up on the inside, getting the penetration that we need.
Coach, can you talk about the status and availability of Whip Samuels for Saturday's game?
Well, I mean, you know, he was, you know, on the sideline, he was pretty active and ready to get in there, but we'll have Richard Samuels back this ball game. And, you know, his presence was definitely missed back there this past week and returns and, you know, just the leadership he had with those other young receivers that's surrounded around Richard. And, you know, we look forward to having him back in business for us.
One more question, Coach. You're going to Mississippi Valley on Saturday. What attracts you about this team? What do you like on both sides of the football from Mississippi Valley State, taking they haven't won their first game of the season yet?
Well, I mean, you know, you see a team with fight. I mean, you know, and you know, you always look at team for where they are right now. And you know, these guys are very scrappy. Coach Morgan and the staff, you know, they got these guys up for every game. You know, they come out and you know, there is no quitting these guys, and what they do on both sides of the ball, you know, is a physical approach. You know, running the ball, able to run the ball. Got two backs, I think, that are very physical. You know, they run the ball hard with their pads over their toes, and that offensive line is much improved from what I've been observing, watching these guys on tape. And defensively, you know, they kind of twist and swerve, and you know, they get after you. So, you know, we definitely got to go in this ball game like every other ball game. We play primarily SWAC competition on the road. We got to bring our A game.
Well, thanks a lot, Coach, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Coach, you're in the unique position playing two games back-to-back against teams that are still fighting for that first win. Central State gave you a little bit of a battle in the first half. Does that help you prepare this week and kind of keeping your guys focused and knowing that even though a team is winless on the season, they've got a little fight left in them?
Man, that's, you know, it's always danger in this ball game when you know, when that curiosity and that hunger for a win is there. And you know, I think that hunger has more power than anyone that's in the friends, and you know, and that's what we want to avoid. And you know, you look at this Valley team now, you know, with their running backs, like I mentioned earlier, they're two of the finest backs you'll see in this league as far as what they'll give you running behind their pads.
Well, your running game again, you know, it just seems like different slippers, different feet. You know, Marcus Wright is the guy this week that runs for over 100 yards. Talk a little bit about his progress, and then how you kind of, again, you know, there's only one ball, but between he and Gilbert, you've established something.
Yeah, I mean, those guys it's been a seesaw effect all year with those guys, and you know, those guys are very combative, but naturally they represent for our young guys the right way to be combative when competition is between two guys, and you know, it shows up on the practice field, and you know, those guys are they pivotal in what we do, you know, to run the football and get people in 8-man front, 9-man fronts where we're able to, you know, get the ball downfield as well. And Rico, it makes it a whole lot easier for that quarterback when those guys are on A form.
And do you go into each game with a particular scheme, or is it by feel on who you feel has the hot hand that day?
Well, you know, it is. You know, if you look at their carry, you know, the guy who took it and get the big plays and those opportunities, when we pull up the stat sheet, that you know, that's what's represented. And you know, both of them are running behind the same offensive line. So, and likewise with our receivers, you know, we challenge our receivers on making blocks downfield as well. And like I said before, man, it's been seesaw all year.
And you finally saw maybe a glimpse of the Marquise Jackson we expected to see all season. He kind of broke out of a slump a little bit.
Yeah, Marquise, you know, he studied growing, and you know, what we expect from him primarily with our defense and what we do is causing havoc, and you know, he's causing havoc in both forms of the